Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Confidence Corner. Oh man, for those of you who are listening live, happy Monday, happy new week. I know that Mondays can be really heavy and can be really hard. When this morning I had this realization, I was like, this is what I need to talk about today. And so I'm really excited to sit down and to hang out with you. And I made some notes this morning because sometimes we can feel really small in this world, like so insignificant, like a little freaking pea in this crazy world that's out there. And that can feel really uncomfortable. We feel insignificant. We feel like we're not enough. And we're comparing ourselves to so many other people in this world that we just feel like the tiniest little person in a world of incredible people. And especially when you surround yourself with really incredible women like I do, it can sometimes make you feel even more small in this world. And this morning I was sitting down and I was reading from Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And I am absolutely loving this book and just every little, memory that she has that she shares with us in just such a insightful way and in feelings that we have all felt before. And I was falling in love, more and more in love with Glennon. I was like, you know what? I'm on board, okay? I'll listen to her podcast. I'm not really a person who listens to a lot of podcasts or even just like big podcasts. For most podcasts I listen to is people I know. And I just had a moment where I was like, you know what? I'm on board, Glennon. I need to learn everything that you're teaching. You are inspiring me in so many ways. And so I went to go search her podcast on Apple and I was looking through the suggested podcast that came up when I was looking for hers. And in that moment, I was like, whoa, there are some big names up in here. There are some really important and influential people creating podcasts, right? I know there's so many out there. And for a moment, I felt like the smallest podcaster in the whole world, the smallest fish in the sea. And it's just one of those moments where you're just like, oh, I didn't even realize how big this sea really was until I was searching and I see just a ton of incredible people who have podcasts and some that I wanted to check out, of course, and some that I was just like, maybe that's not for me. And I know that that's what this is all about. And for someone, for myself, I might feel really small. And for someone else, I might feel really big. And that just is kind of part of the journey. But in that moment, I had that realization. And I know we all feel that way sometimes. And there's moments where we're just like, yeah, I am not making a difference. What I'm doing, who I'm talking to, it just isn't enough. But I want to remind you that you're not alone. We feel really small sometimes. But again, for other people in this world, we are their whole world. We're huge, right? Think of our family, think of our friends, think of our partners. There's so many people out there that we are big. We're not small. And today as I was sitting down and I was thinking about that, the desires on our heart, we often hold back because we don't think that we're enough to share it. And I always think that when it comes to this podcast, imagine I never started it. Imagine even though it's small, even though, it's not as big as some of these other people, it's still making an impact. And even if it wasn't, it makes an impact for me. It's the desire on my heart to share. It's a desire that I've always wanted to be a part of, something like this. And even if no one listened, even if it was just me hanging out on the mic, hanging out with a couple people who were on live, that it would still be enough. Because it's what I want to do. And this is your reminder today that if you're feeling small, and if you're feeling like your desires on your heart, the things that you've been wanting to do your whole life, the big vision that you have that feels so freaking big, it could never be yours because you're so small, right? That's what we tell ourselves. This is your reminder that that big vision is yours. And it doesn't matter if it only impacts you. If it impacts you, that's enough. That's a beautiful thing, right? And I think it's really special once we start to see our desires in that way. And that came through clarity this morning as I was sitting down and I was reading Untamed, and I wanted to read a little part from you. I never really read books. I feel like maybe I could be like an audiobook reader, but I wanted to read this because it was really special this morning when I had a moment thinking about the desires that I've had on my heart. And yeah, they feel too big sometimes, but sometimes we also get confused with the desires that we have. And so in this book, she was talking to a friend, and the desire on her heart was to rent a beach house. But that actually wasn't really the desire that she had. The desire that she had was for deep connection with her family. And even Glennon said her desire, her surface desire, was to drink a whole bottle of Malibu. But she knew that that wasn't what she wanted. That surface desires are the one that conflicts with the knowing. And that one that's in our gut, the one that we really want, but sometimes we cover it with fear, we cover it with numbing, we cover it with, oh, I want to binge watch, Firefly Lane, which I did, I'm not going to lie to you. There's so many things that we numb our true desires with because we don't feel like they could be ours. They're too big to be ours. And when I was reading this, I just thought it was really special. Our deep desires are wise, true, beautiful, and things we grant ourselves without abandoning our knowing. Following our deep desires always returns us to integrity. If your desire feels wrong to you, go deeper. You can trust yourself. You just have to get low enough. And says, I have spent the last decade of my life listening to women talk about their most desires. And this is what women tell me they want. I want a minute to take a deep breath. I want rest, peace, passion. I want good food and true, wild, intimate sex. I want relationships with no lies. I want to be comfortable in my own skin. I want to be seen, to be loved. And the list goes on all these things that are just like our true and deep desires that we want. And we don't feel worthy because oftentimes society tells us that we're not worthy. But whatever it is, that true gut knowing that you have, that desire that you have, is yours, and you're worthy of it. You're big enough. And the one moment that I was just like, yeah, 100% mic drop was at the end, because a big piece of this is around society telling us that we can't have it, and that if women actually go after their desires, the world would look so much different, right? So I really would love to know what that thing is on your heart, that thing in your gut that you've been wanting for so long, and why you haven't gone after it. What's holding you back? It says here, maybe Eve was never meant to be our warning. Maybe she was meant to be our model. Own your wanting. Eat the apple. Let it burn. Like, moment. I was just like, yeah, why can't we go after what we want? Why can't we be that big vision of ourselves? And even if it's in a small ocean, we're small fish in a big ocean, you could still go after what you want because it's yours. So follow that gut feeling, follow that true desire, that thing that you've been craving, what it is that you've been wanting, because you are worth it. You are not too small. You can do big things. And it's really special when we start to see ourselves, because our desires are important too. We spend our whole life giving to everybody else in this world, right? Showing up for everybody else. And even as a podcaster and a coach, I spend a lot of time on other people's desires. But the truth is, I got desires too. And showing up here is actually one of mine. Spending this Monday morning with you and hanging out is a big desire of mine. I'm just so grateful that you follow along and that you hang out with me in this time. So if you're feeling really small and that vision, that life that you have is really just too big for you, the truth is it's not. Take little steps towards it. Go after your desires. Speak it to other people. Use your voice, because it's really freaking powerful when you do. And I promise you, you're going to start to see yourself in a different light as you start to share your desires. And other people are going to see you in a light because you're someone who goes after what you want. I'm so freaking proud of you. And I know that you're going to do amazing things because you already are. I love you so much. What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.